Welcome to this episode. Today it's going to be a selfish episode. I will talk about myself a lot. Jacques will ask me some questions where he thinks that they will interest you.
Yep.
So without talking too much, let's directly get into this.
Yeah, welcome from the wonderful country of Greece.
Yeah.
We're here in our house. I want to start this episode by saying that Robin is one of the most knowledgeable people and most impactful people that I had in my life when it comes to crypto. We've gone through the whole journey together, and right now we're working on a common project, and we've always helped each other. We've been a team, and I think that his story is one story that everyone can really listen to, and where you can get huge amounts of value, and which can help you with your whole crypto journey as a whole and how to become really successful. Because I think you agree with me, you have different steps in your crypto journey, and you have different ways to get to the top. And I really want to hear your story today, how you got at the point where you are, sitting in this beautiful villa here. Like, I want all the people to know, how can you achieve all of this, like where we're sitting right now. I don't want to tell the price that you paid, that we paid for this, but I mean, you're one of the most successful guys I know into crypto. We started our journey in 2017, and I want our listeners to kind of have this path, because I think you're one of the greatest examples to show, like, because you had one of the worst conditions. Like, we'll get into that soon, but how you went from the absolute bottom to the absolute top, like in kind of a short amount of time, also, like 6 years, like it's not too much. Like, you went from the absolute bottom to the absolute top. I have a lot of respect for Robin. As I said, like, as I told you guys, one of the most knowledgeable guys I know in the cryptocurrency space. And so where did we both start? What's your story? I want to know your story. So we will start at the beginning, and we will progressively move up, and at the end we will tell people how to best get up there. Like, what was your starting position? Where were you when you first heard about crypto? How much money did you earn per month? Like, what were your conditions? Where were you living? What were you eating? You know where I want to get, what I want to get to. So tell us your story, man.
Yeah, okay. So the first time I heard about crypto was actually because of this beautiful human next to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't sit here. So basically, my start into crypto, like, maybe a bit to my background first, like, when I got to know him, like, it was in university. Like, I was basically a student. I studied business informatics. I had a background in informatics already. Like, I worked into the field in this field as a programmer, and already, like, were trading on a paper portfolio in the 10th grade. So this was basically my background. I was always interested in economy, and back then I had I had a couple of jobs in the IT field, and one of the jobs was really showing me, okay, I don't want to do this stuff. Like, I worked at the customer support of the Caritas. Most of you won't know what this is. Basically a institution that helps people in need, which is a beautiful thing. But working there with people who have absolutely no clue about IT, and me being the person who needs to explain everything to them, was kind of a difficult situation. Let's put it like that. I didn't really enjoy my time over there. But deep respect for the people who do this. So this was my starting point and my background. And when this guy told me about Bitcoin, I was directly interested, because, like, the IT or the idea behind it directly caught my attention, because I understood that what Satoshi is trying to do is, out of an IT perspective, possible. And I was directly, like, hooked. But yeah, when I started, like, the path was pretty, like, hard. So I was a student, as I already said, and my salary each month was like 600 euros back then, so not a lot of money. I got, like, some support of
Hello.
I got
Yeah, our concierge is wants to do something with the pool. Go ahead, man.
no worries. So yeah, so I had like not really the funds to really like successfully direct.
How much money, bro? Like how much when we both moved into our houses, respective houses?
Yeah.
Like we were living in the same building.
Apartments.
How much were you earning? Yeah, okay, apartments. How much were you earning per month? And tell us like how hard life was. And you told us right now like how you got into this, but I want people to know where you started because I know it and I want everyone to know like
Yeah.
how your journey was, where you actually started, and how much money you were getting from your mom actually.
Yeah. So I basically got like in Germany it's called Kindergeld, like the money that the state gives children in Germany to like do whatever. So I got like 200 euros out of that, and like I earned 600 euros through my job. But in the beginning, like when we met, I didn't have a job, so I was living I wouldn't say the worst life. There are always
We had fun.
We had a lot of fun.
We had fun.
So there are a lot of people around the world who had less than us. So I wouldn't say that I had like a really bad like starting point compared to them, but
For Germany, it was.
For Germany it was okay. But I earned like 600 euros after like 3 months of living in Cologne.
How much did you have left after rent?
Yeah, rent was 600 euros. So it was quite a interesting time. My father also supported me, but I have to be fair on that. So he also gave me some money. But overall, it was a really difficult time. And like, I bet a lot of you understand, like as a student, you want to go out, have fun with your friends, go to parties and everything. So basically, I was in the negative at the end of the month for each month, like for the first year.
Yeah.
And when I like tried to invest in crypto, it was like a very small amount back then.
Yeah.
So I always try to like invest a little, but for me, like living life back then was a higher priority. And I think a lot of people can resonate with that. Like if you're on this specific age, like you don't care a lot about your future.
Yeah.
But this changed pretty quickly. Like, I don't know, at one point in university, I realized that this isn't me. Like I had a job at a consulting company in Germany. Well, I was also working as a programmer, and I really quickly realized that working in this field doesn't give me what I want. I always wanted to be able to travel to places like that. And when I looked at the salary of these guys, I was like, okay, yeah, they earn like 50,000 to 60,000 euros a year, maybe a bit more if you are really experienced. And I was basically looking in the mirror and said, okay, this isn't me. I don't want this. I deeply don't want this. I don't want to lay in bed when I died and when I'm close to death and say, this is how I lived my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided to go the harder route in the beginning, which was going the route of entrepreneurship and also investing into crypto and really understanding crypto. But yeah, again, it was like a painful journey, but we will get into this.
Yeah. So basically, like you didn't get into the details, but at the beginning you had maybe 100 or 200 euros, let's call it dollars. It's approximately the same left every month to live. So you started, you know, like obviously I don't know if you want to say this, but with a background of almost a single mother and all that. Yeah. It was quite hard for you. And I remember you coming to my houses sometimes and I helped you out. We both had difficult times. Like you helped me out afterwards, but I remember like I was doing some grocery shopping for you and
this guy
like,
saved me.
we cooked together, you know, like I helped this guy out. And afterwards I had some dark times and he helped me out. Like we went through a lot of shit together. And so basically we were living as broke students in Germany and we both had our respective, you know, like interests in and jobs. And so we were living there extremely broke. Didn't even like we ate ravioli that were costing like $1.50 or whatever, and we had them together, like both of us. So after that, you get your job as a consultant in this IT firm, and you also get into crypto, and you understand crypto from this IT perspective, and you soon understand how it might change the world and what future it might have. And you believed into this mission quite early on. So what are the next steps? Like, you get into this, I show you this. What did you do then? What were your next steps after you heard it from me? You understand, okay, from an IT perspective, this makes sense. What were your first steps and actions in the cryptocurrency world?
Yeah.
I got some disco going on.
Yeah, so basically the first like actions I took was like investing into the scam, as I already said.
Yeah.
And after that, I quickly realized, like with everything in life, if you really want to succeed in something, you have to understand it. And after I lost money, I didn't like was mad about it. I was really like, it was basically a lesson that showed me, okay, you really have to understand something before you act on it. And this reminded me of this. Like, as an example, like most people, when they start with something, they always like try to understand it first. Like if you want to get into IT, you don't directly apply for a job in IT. You start by understanding IT first and starting to understand how to develop, because otherwise you would never get a job there. So this was basically also what I thought about crypto. Okay, I want to understand it first, because otherwise I will only lose money and will never really succeed with it. So basically what I did in the bear market between like 2019 and 2020 was, with this guy, we basically every morning came together and tried to understand crypto. So there was a guy, like he's called Data Dash. Back in the days, he really published
mainstream
YouTuber. Yeah, exactly. Nowadays he's a mainstream YouTuber, but back in the days he really published like knowledgeable stuff. And some other guys like DJ Spartan on Twitter, like they showed us, and also another group, they showed us what crypto really is. So during the bear market of 2018 and 2020, I basically dove deep into crypto and really understood it to its core. I didn't have a lot of money to invest, but I tried to make the best out of this situation.
Yeah.
And this was basically the journey, or the small parts in between.
What cryptocurrency did you buy first? Did you buy some altcoins? Did you buy Bitcoin? Or what did you do at the beginning? Like, what were your actual actions? Did you do leverage trading? Did you just buy spots? Like, what did you do? Which coins? What did you do?
I started, like, I downloaded Coinbase. I remember this. And the first thing I bought, because I really liked the idea, was Ethereum at $80. This was like my first real, like, proper investment in crypto.
So you bought Ethereum at $80?
At $80, yeah. I still remember this. And I hold a couple of cryptocurrencies. So I think I also hold like XRP and Bitcoin and all of this stuff, because I didn't know exactly what to do. So I started with that. Then I quickly realized, okay, if you can trade, you can make money with crypto. So I think many people did the same mistake and got into leverage trading. So this is also like was the next thing I tried to do.
So you tried leverage trading as well?
Yeah, because like, understand my situation, because I hadn't like the funds to really succeed of crypto. I tried to increase the amount of money that I'm able to invest. So leverage trading was like the...
Can you explain it for people who don't know what it is, maybe?
Okay. So basically what you do is you borrow money from an exchange to increase your capital that you are able to invest into a certain cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And the downside is that as soon as the price goes down by a little, if you have like a high leverage, if you borrowed a lot of money, this trade will go to zero really, really quick. Like, let's say, okay, you borrow, like, let's say you have like $100 in your bank account, on your exchange account. and you open up a trade, which is like the total amount or the total notable size of that investment is $1,000. So you trade on a leverage of 10x. And as soon as the price dips a little, your whole $100 funds go away as quick as they would have been like $1,000.
Yeah.
So I tried this, burned my hands on it, liquidated basically all my assets I held.
So which means like he borrowed a lot of money, and the big risk is when you borrow money, when you leverage trade, is that there's a downside, there's a risk to it. And which means if the price falls or if it rises to a certain threshold, to a certain amount, you might lose all your money. This is the risk. You're able to borrow way more money than you have, but you can also lose it all at once.
Yeah.
And this is what happened, just to
Exactly. Yeah.
sum it up.
I remember like the exact night, like I was trading XRP on leverage, and it was Christmas. And I was eating with my family, not having my phone next to me, and the price just dumped of XRP. And this was also the moment where I realized, okay, trading is nothing for me. I never do leverage trading again. This was actually like principle of mine from that moment on. So I got to leverage trading, failed, terrible at it.
How much did you lose percentage-wise? Do you know that?
I think back in the days it was like 40% of my capital.
All right.
So
That's quite big, almost half of it.
Yeah, on FTX back then. So yeah, I lost a lot of money in leverage trading. Then on the side, I really started to understand crypto in a fundamental way. So I understood what like brings value to a cryptocurrency, and this was basically the style of making money in crypto that I have chosen. Like I was an investor, not a trader. So I decided to go all into investing, and especially investing into projects very early on. So I wasn't like very interested in the big players or coins that were already at the top. I was more interested into the higher risk opportunities in crypto, which also bring like higher returns. So what I decided to do is get deep into that area, understand like how to find coins early. Then we had like investments like AVAX,
Avalanche,
where we invested into the ICO. The ICO is basically the first time the public is able to buy a certain cryptocurrency at 50 cents, rised up to $120. So this is basically the style of investing I decided on continuing. And yeah, basically the thing that I'm doing till today, I just refined my strategies and increased the profitability of the strategy.
All right. So basically you started at the bottom. You just told us how you lost at the beginning the most amount of your money.
Yeah.
So now I want to know, like, what was the next step? How many years did it take you? What were the biggest learning you took, and how did you get to the next level? And when was the moment actually when you made the first amount of big money back then, which today is not too much, but how did you do this transition from loser to slowly starting to understand the cryptocurrency, how to make money, and give us some examples, like what did it look like from your point of view?
Yeah, so at the beginning I started like with you together, which was actually quite helpful. So we basically did everything for ourselves. Like we learned everything without having a mentor, without having anything. So we try to teach us everything based on public information. And this is also the journey most people go through. Like they start in the beginning, understand, okay, there's like a certain knowledge that I'm missing. So I try to find someone on YouTube or on Twitter who is able to help me out. Like nowadays also on Instagram. So this was like the first part of my journey where I tried to learn everything myself with you together, obviously. And then I started to make like my first real money in the 2020 bull market, where both of us were really early to the area so-called DeFi.
Yeah, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so DeFi basically is the traditional finance system in a decentralized way. So basically that means in DeFi, you are able to trade not on exchanges like like Binance and Coinbase or something like that, but on exchanges like Uniswap. So this area of decentralized finance, of possibilities to trade or borrow money without like a central entity, this was the place where I was really, really early, and the first time really had the feeling that I have an edge about other investors. So
What's an edge?
An information advantage. So this is where I really like started to understand, okay, if I have this information advantage, I'm able to profit of this. So during that time, we went all in. Like for me, it was being like, I was on every blockchain back then. Like DeFi, the whole area takes part on, for example, Ethereum or Avalanche or whatever other blockchain there is. And for me, being early to this area helped me to, for example, like do really, really like with sites, meaning like a huge investment in the cryptocurrency DOPEX, for example. I was one of the first users actually. Made like a very good 7x with that. It was like 7x doesn't sound a lot, but
That's good.
7x with sites means like, okay, you made a bunch of money back then. So this was one thing. Then because I was early, I got all sorts of airdrops.
What's an airdrop?
An airdrop is basically a way for cryptocurrencies or cryptocurrency projects to say thank you. So if you were an early user of for example, Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange, you got, what was it, 8,000 Uni tokens? Or
4,000. 4,000.
4,000 Uni tokens. So you basically just got money out of thin air. And because we both were so early to everything, we got a bunch of these airdrops and basically got a bunch of free money. And this again showed me, okay, there's like a way in crypto to not just only benefit of like token or price increases, but also the pure participation in crypto is beneficial. So I was early to all these protocols. I earned a bunch of money with that. Invested into ICOs like Avalanche, but also Butterfly was another example, which was also a DeFi protocol. I don't go too deep into that. Then there were like certain other actions I took. Like
what happened to these investments that you made?
Butterfly, I think, also did a 7x if I remember this correctly. But I sold it because I wasn't like emotionally attached to them. Because at one point you realize most of these projects are not sustainable. So what I did is I invested to them very early, sold them, not right after the launch, but nearly after the launch.
What happened to the Avalanche trade also? You told us Butterfly 7x,
Yeah.
You sold it almost directly after launch. What happened to the Avalanche?
So for Avalanche, this is an interesting story. My knowledge back in the days was capped. We already talked about this in the podcast where we talked about exit strategies and so on. I wasn't able to sell my Avalanche token for 1 year. So I invested at 50 cents. The price went up to $5, and I would have sold at that time because the money I made was a bunch of money for me. Like it was a 10x. And I wasn't able to sell because there was like a lockup period, which basically means you are not able to sell your tokens or touch your tokens for a certain period. And the lockup period was 1 year. And during that time, the price of Avalanche went from 50 cents to $120. And this is where I made like a bunch of money because remember, I'm still a student in university. I just do crypto more or less full time. I wasn't really active in university, to be honest. This was my first real big trade. And then there was also all this DeFi stuff happening next to it. And I started to realize at this point, I think it was the moment where I made like the 7x with DOPEX. I was thinking, okay, I can do this full time and live off of that. And I don't need this boring job at this consultation company. I will go all into this.
Yep.
So I decided to quit my job. I decided to quit my university. My parents didn't like that. This was basically the moment where I realized, okay, we'll do this full time and we'll take this seriously. And yeah, basically this is my story on how I made like my first real money in crypto, and also how I quit my job.
So basically, you really started at the bottom, and I remember telling you and my friends, it was kind of a joke, but back then we were like one step in the hierarchy of the population. We were one step above homeless people. I was like, guys, you realize that we're just like one step above homeless people. We don't have a real job. We're just studying, have a little bit of money. To discovering crypto, making your first money out of it, and also having a lot of dark times, like you said, with the leverage trading, you lost a lot. And then was kind of the sticking through it. I would like to talk about the mentality thing, but I think it would take a little bit too long. Like, what made you stick through it? Just like a small sentence, maybe you can say, like, why didn't you quit after losing 40, 50, 60, 70% of your positions?
Very good question. For me, it was a quick answer to that was understanding that crypto is here to stay. And this basically made me go and make me stick to it, to answer it very shortly.
Very good. Nice. So you had this mentality while you lost all of your money. Maybe we'll do an episode on that later, how to handle bad situations and big portfolio losses, because I think this is a very relevant topic. But you just stuck to crypto. You understood the long-term rise of it. And after that, you got so immersed into the topic that you got into niche areas of crypto, which made you an insane amount of money because you were one of the first people to get in. And because you were one of the first people to get in, you had an insane edge or information advantage over other people, which enabled you to make a lot of money afterwards. So you go from a beginner, you do all the classic mistakes, and this is not the only one you did, that we both did. For the length of the episode, we're not going to list every possible mistake that we made. It was one of them. We lost a lot of money. So you go up, you go down, then you go up again with DeFi. And this is, in my opinion, because I know you very well, that in this time also you were learning a lot about crypto, and you were putting a lot of hours into crypto. Like, do you want to get a bit into that? Like, just also maybe one or two sentences, how much time did you actually spend there to get to this level of DeFi where you made your first 7x and all that? Like, how much work does it actually take? Just maybe short, and then we can go on.
For me, it was like every day. I looked into crypto every single day. We invested a bunch of hours doing our research together. So I would say somewhere between 3 to 4 hours at least a day. And then there were days where we just went into like university, booked a private room there, and went into it for over 10 hours. So
to research project.
To research, So to summarize, we talked about this in our episode already, like over 10,000 hours, 100%.
So we both put in tremendous amount of work in hours into that, and then you start seeing the results and making your first amount of money. Where I would say that you were well off for maybe, how old were we? 21, 22, somewhere like there. So you were really well off for a 22-year-old. And after that, what happens to get you to the next level? Because we went to beginner to kind of intermediate. I would say right now we're kind of on our way to champion, but right now you're in this intermediate, very high intermediate. I think we're both at one of the highest ranks of intermediate, almost champion you can get, because for champion, for me, you need like almost 9 figures, 100 million plus, and we're not there yet. But we have our pass. So what takes you from this DeFi edge to the next level? Like, what were the things that, like, what was it? How does the rest of the journey look like?
All right. So for me, basically, after I made this money with DeFi, I got a bunch of questions from like my girlfriend back then, and also like friends of her, and also other friends of us, and they also they all asked me on how this DeFi thing works, because I was really like enthusiastic about it. And then I explain it all the time. And then at one point I came to you after I had like lunch with my girlfriend and her friend. And I explained them DeFi. And I was like, why are we not sharing this valuable knowledge that we have with other people? Mm-hmm. So I will come back to this in a second. So basically what happened is I went to his house, told him, okay, we have to write an ebook about this topic because our knowledge is so fucking valuable. We have to bring it to the public. I had another business back then, which also like took a lot of my time. So he basically wrote most of the book, but I was giving also ideas and also wrote part of the book because he was like, he put some pressure on me. Let's put it like that. So we wrote this book together, and then we tried to market it. We had like an Instagram channel back in the days, and then also tried to like connect with other German influencers in the crypto space because the book was in German. And we got to know our first mentor, George. And basically what happened is, in short, we told him if he like, why he's not marketing our book because it's such a beautiful thing, blah, 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 blah. And he basically told us it's a bad idea and we should do something else with our knowledge. And he was looking for someone who could help him out in his crypto mentoring program in Germany to teach people about crypto and especially DeFi, because was one of the most wanted areas in crypto basically. And we were, I would say, in Germany, in the top 0.01% of people who actually knew this area and actually made money in this.
100%.
And he basically asked us if we can do like some courses on this topic and help their audience out. And he was one of our first real mentors in person because he basically, like a mentor, in my eyes, is telling you what you shouldn't do rather than what you should do. And avoiding mistakes is one of the best things that a mentor like can help you with. Like he had been on this journey already that you are currently walking on. So George helped us a lot with understanding like business especially, and also showed us like how truly fulfilling it is to share our knowledge with people who actually want to learn. And this is basically what we did from there on. Like we understood, okay, crypto is a nice thing and all, but we both wanted to have like an active cash flow. We didn't want to rely on crypto. So we helped George and Johannes, who's also another of our mentors, to build up this crypto mentoring program in Germany, teach them everything about, like teach the people inside of the program, everything about DeFi. And then Johannes was also another guy who was also very deep in crypto, like big investor. And his strengths laid in understanding how crypto projects can accelerate in public and become more like, he basically did the marketing to make it short. He basically helped these projects to do a very good marketing so they can appreciate in price. And this guy basically also told us like, showed us the other side of crypto, because till then we only knew crypto as retail investors, as people who invest into a cryptocurrency and hold it and whatever. And he basically was on the other side, on the side of the teams who basically he was consulting these projects and help them to achieve a better public image, for example. And he took us with him on this journey and showed us everything. So basically another mentor which showed us like the other side of crypto, and which was also totally extremely valuable. So we helped other investors in Germany. I think till now we helped over 1,000 investors easily to invest in crypto successfully. And this basically showed me like how much I like it to share my knowledge with people who actually want to learn. And then on the side, we also got to learn crypto, like we understood crypto out of a different perspective because of our mentors, and they accelerated our journey. And yeah, this is basically it. We wrote a book on DeFi, learned pretty quickly that this is not the way how you create an active cash flow through George. George helped us business-wise understand what a good business is. Johannes showed us like the insights in crypto that we have never seen till that point. And yeah.
Make more money out of that?
100% make more money out of that. Yeah,
right.
Like 100%. I don't want to get too deep into this. We just recorded an episode on that topic. So let's...
Awesome. So that was your next step. And from this step until now, because this was maybe 2 years ago, maybe
2022, I would say.
Yeah, maybe a bit more, a bit longer, 2.5 years. From this point on until now, what took you to even further step?
Right, one thing, one thing that I had to do during that time where I like helped other people invest in crypto was to get better and better and better to provide them the best advice possible.
Yeah.
So during that time, like I was investing 3 to 4 hours before that already into crypto, but during that time where I was able to do crypto full time, I invested much more than that. So
that pressure to perform and to give your clients the best amount of information.
Exactly. So helping other people actually helped myself to get even deeper into crypto. And through the knowledge that I got through like George and Johannes, I was able to understand crypto on a whole different level and understood, okay, there are levels to this shit. So I went deeper and deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole of crypto, made like all sorts of different, like I understood how to create strategies. So I tried them out myself and then gave them to my, to the investors in the German mentoring program. So I had to learn much more, even more about crypto so I can help these investors to the best possible level. And yeah, this is basically what I did during that time, and which accelerated my crypto journey, obviously, because I knew which investment strategies worked, which one didn't, and I tried basically everything. I tried everything. I was involved in every trend because I had to. I had no other choice because I'm like a person. If someone asks me a question and I can't answer it, I feel bad. So I tried to avoid this situation as much as possible. And I knew that these people would ask me questions about new trends in crypto. So I was always on top of everything. Structured, like I created systems and all sorts of that. So what accelerated my journey, to put it very short, was helping other people and my fear of not being good enough. Yeah. So this was basically what created the person who sits in front of you right now. And yeah. Maybe you have another question to that topic.
Yeah. So this made you the most amount of money and to the point that you are right now.
Exactly. Because I learned everything. I was involved in every single trend. I was farming airdrops. I was involved into like metaverse projects. I knew what was going on. And because of this, I was always like on top of everything and created again this information edge, where I had more information about crypto than I would say 99% of all the other investors. And because I was early, I was basically early to every project there was. So I was early in ICOs to all sorts, like different meme coins and so on. Like, for example, Base was one of the ecosystems, one of the new ones, where I was also one of the early adopters. Early to Toshi, early to Aerodrome. Now it's Ton. So right now I started to understand, okay, what really drives value to a certain ecosystem. And through the knowledge I gained through Johannes, I understood, okay, it's not about like buzzwords and everything, but about like real inflows.
Yeah.
And I try to invest in crypto in a very logical way. And if I create a bulletproof investment thesis, which is basically the reason why you invest into a certain ecosystem or crypto project, and I understand it's a bulletproof investment thesis, I go all in into this. And this is basically always my idea of investing. Be early to a bulletproof area, go all in, don't do other stuff. Focus on that one thing till it reaches a point where you say, okay, now it's saturated, and then search for the next thing.
Yeah.
And this is my idea of how to make money in crypto. There are other ways, but this is what I'm good at.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think you described your journey very well. I think that most of the people understand now how to become from a complete beginner to almost the highest level of intermediate you can get. And then obviously with more time passing, we'll get into the champion rooms, Hall of Fame, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, it takes a lot of time and effort. It's one of the hardest things you can do. So people went with you through this journey of being a complete beginner, absolutely broke student in Germany.
Yeah.
Through all the ups and downs, which you described, like losing all your money, then making it back with DeFi, then losing it a little bit more, and then getting to the next level with your mentors, and then coaching other people on how to make money for over 2 to 3 years, which gave you an insane amount of value too, which catapulted your portfolio up.
Yeah.
So right now I would ask yourself, what is the quickest and easiest way from a complete crypto beginner to reach our level? What would you like? Is there something you would do different from the beginning? Because we've been in this journey for 6.5 years right now.
Yeah.
Like, would you do things different?
Yeah, 100%. So,
and if yes, what?
If you get into a new area, you have to realize what your set or what your skill set is. And if you are acting outside of that skill set, the easiest way to understand what it takes to be successful in something is to learn from someone who already has this skill set. And you can go the route and go alone and do all this stuff, like learn all the costly lessons. Like I lost so much money in crypto, over 6 figures. You can go that route and you can lose all of that money and learn all the lessons by yourself, but it's much faster to get someone who already has that skill set that you want to acquire. And this is something I would have done differently if I would have the chance to. So, yeah.
Would it be like investing more into yourself and your education?
100%.
Because for me, it's also, I lost like a lot of 6 figures, even more, I would say, in crypto. But I would say this is not the thing I'm most mad about. It's the time I put in.
Exactly.
Because time you cannot get back. Money you can get back. But like, is it not investing into yourself?
Investing into having more time to actually enjoy the fruits of that labor. So I basically lost 3 years of my life because I didn't have a mentor. And I understood that concept now, and like we invest over 6 figures in people who help us to achieve certain areas in our life. So for example, I have someone who helps me with my Instagram page, and I invest like $12,000 into that. I had another guy who teach me like the basics of business in America. Like, you have to think about it. I invested another $6,000 dollars over there, and just recently we invested into a guy over $100,000, so he can show us who we are to become better versions of ourselves. And as soon as you understand that time is the most valuable asset in the world, you realize, okay, money is not everything. Time is the most important asset. So you would much rather spend your money than your time. And if I would had the chance to talk to myself 6 or 7 years ago, it would be understand this concept and act accordingly. Get someone who can save you time so you can get faster to this champion level in no matter what area of your life. Always try to save time so you can enjoy the success longer. Because
what's the other alternative people have?
You spend a lot of time for an uncertain output. Because if you go the route yourself, it's not guaranteed that you will make the right choice.
It's also okay. Like, if you
Yeah,
have
you
the
can do that.
time, you know, like
There, like you're totally free to do whatever you want. It's just everyone I know who is successful, and no matter what part of their lives, everyone invested into their knowledge.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think this was an awesome interview. Let's
Yeah.
call it like that, man.
Thank you for the
Like,
questions.
I think you laid out your story
Yeah.
in a very nice manner. I think most people got a ton of value from that, and
Yeah.
it was a very nice experience to interview you. We've never done this before.
Yeah.
This nice place, and yeah, I think if you want to see more of us, like, do you want to say more about that, where they can find us and what
Yeah.
to do?
So Jack and I decided to give our knowledge to the outside world. So if you really want to find or have someone who has that skill set that you want to acquire in crypto, we are open to work with you if you fulfill our standards. So if you want to check out like what basically is necessary to work with us, and ask us questions at every time of the day, get our personalized guidance on what to do and what not to do in crypto, then check out the website. Should be somewhere in the description of this podcast, and we can have a chat and see if this is something, if crypto is the right thing for you at this specific moment. And yeah, with that being said, I don't know if you want to have some clothing.
Let's go grab dinner, man. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry as fuck. So with that being said, see you in the next episode. Bye bye.